everyone. I want to welcome you to another episode of Fred Speaks. I pray that everyone had a great day that has already completed work today. And those that are still working, it won't be long before your day is complete. But I just want to welcome you, and I pray that everyone is doing well. And tonight, I have a great topic for you, and I always say that. But I just believe that the topics that are given to me, they're great life topics that I feel that most people can relate to. But before we get into our topic tonight, I want to uh, give a quote uh, tonight, which is this. And by the way, this quote was given to me by someone a few days ago. And when I read it, I was like, man, this is an awesome quote. But the quote is, there is a God shaped place in the heart of every man which cannot be filled by any created thing, but only by God, the Creator, made known through Jesus. So that quote, as I mentioned, I thought it was a great quote when I received it and read it. Um, but I was thinking about human beings and how we try to fill that place that is meant for God. We try to fill it with so many other things, and we go about our lives like, I mean, we try to come up with any and everything that's trying to fill that space. Um, I remember a time in my life where I was just I didn't know, um, there was this longing or whatever in me, but I didn't know what was meant to be there. And so I did many things, drinking and trying to have a bunch of women and stuff like that. Just trying to fill that place, but none of that, you know, could fill that place. And so I'm sure many of you that are listening in or will be listening, you can agree that everything that you tried to fill that place with, it just did not work. It's almost trying to put a puzzle together, and you're trying to complete the puzzle, and you try to force a piece that doesn't belong there, and it just won't work. And that's how we sometimes do in life. We try to the place for God. We try to put other things there, and that is a place that's designated for Him, and so nothing else will work. Getting a great career, job, getting married and having children, you name it, getting a house, nice car, money in the bank, getting your education. None of these things will fill that place, because after you achieve all those things, you still find yourself with a longing and an emptiness. Something is missing. And I had someone at my job, I've known him for a while, and, he just out of the blue one day, he asked me if he could talk to me, and I was like, sure. And so he began right off the bat. He was like, hey, I'm married, I got children, I do stuff with the Boy Scouts, and he was just naming all these things that he do and that he's involved with. And he says, but I still feel there's something missing. And I was like, wow, so this was my opportunity to let him know that God, is the missing piece, and, so you can achieve everything that you can imagine in life. But if you don't have God there, there's always something missing. And so I just wanted to talk about that quote a little bit because it is in all of us, and most of the time we will ignore that, and we try to, fill that place with other things. So I want to get on into our topic tonight. Our topic tonight is know your worth, and I myself and I talk to different people, and it's like you look at yourself and you run across other people that are genuinely caring people, and they try to do right by those that they interact with and are involved with, either as a friend or in relationships or whatever the case may be. They genuinely are, people that try to do good by other people. And but somewhere, whether it was growing up or just through experiences, once you become an adult, somewhere you started to lose sight of your worth. That you deserve good things to happen in your life. And a lot of times we find ourselves feeling like we don't deserve good things to happen to us. And it's because of something that has occurred in our lives that we, find ourselves in that place. And I just want to ask this question, and tonight is, what do you believe you deserve? And I'm not talking about entitlement, because you don't want to come across as, you feel like, everything should be done for you, but what do you feel you deserve? And when I think about deserve, to me, it means that, you have done the things, like I said earlier, where you treat people like you want to be treated. So you treat people with respect. You treat people with love and kindness. And so for me, I would say what I deserve is that in return. I am looking for that in return. I'm not feel like I'm entitled, but I feel that I deserve what I put out. And so it's kind of disheartening when you are putting these things out, loving kindness and your respect and everything, but you're not getting it in return. And especially when you find yourself in a place where you are trying to prove your worth. And so you start to become a pleaser. So you say yes to everything. Anytime somebody asks you, will you do this for me? Will you, whatever it is, you're like, yes, yes, yes. Because you, in their eyes, you want to be that person that they can depend on. But they're not doing the same for you in return. But you become to be the pleaser, and you don't know how to say no. So you feel like if I say no, then I'm going to be labeled a certain way. But you're overdoing it because you don't see your worth. That I am valuable. I have the characteristics and I have all of these different traits that I am a, overall, good person, because I try to treat people the way I want to be treated. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, but I feel that I deserve to at least have the love, the kindness and respect in return that I put out. But we find ourselves being pleasers, and again, we're trying to get people to see us, as they need us, and that we're valuable in their lives. But we have to be able to see that we're valuable even if somebody else does not see it and does not appreciate it. we have to be able to see that I am, I have worth, that I'm not useless, but I bring something to the table. I bring some good characteristics and qualities to the table. And so we have to know our worth. And getting back to different life situations, and if you ever grown up or you've been in a relationship where somebody belittles you and tell you that you're ugly, or that you're worthless and you'll never be anything. And the thing about that is if you listen to this stuff long enough, you'll start to believe it. And somewhere you have to be able to stand up for yourself and be like, no, no, you're wrong. I am beautiful. I am handsome. Or I will amount to something, and so many times we find ourselves in situations where we're belittled, uh, you know, become to be a doormat, where we're degraded and disrespected, and we know it, and we feel like, well, okay, I'm just going to put up with this, and in hopes that this person will see how great I am, and it will help them to, do things differently in regards to me. That is not true. The person is not going to see that. They're not going to see that. And even if they do see it, if they don't appreciate you, they're going to continue to do the same thing that they're doing. You have to be able to see your worth, to know your worth, that I am worth something. Maybe this person that is in my life, or these people that I'm dealing with, maybe they don't see it. They don't get it. But that's okay. That's okay. I don't need those type of people in my life. I need the type of people that see the value that I bring to the table. And if they can't appreciate who I am, then I don't need them in my life. And so that's about knowing your worth, and that, hey, if somebody else doesn't, hey, you can move on. You can move. You don't have to limit yourself to individuals or situations just because you want to have somebody in your life. No, you know your worth. There's somebody that will appreciate who you are and what you bring to the table. And so the other thing that we find ourselves doing is becoming to be a performer, where we're like, oh, look at what I've accomplished. Look at, I have this nice house, or I got this nice car, or, I got money in the bank, so I can go on trips and vacations and all this kind of stuff. And we're trying to prove to them that we have worth. But again, it's about ourselves. We have to know ourselves, the value that we have, that we possess, the qualities that we have. And we shouldn't let anybody dictate that or define that. That's something we have to know ourselves. And so trying to be a performer, look at, I got a degree and I got my master's and all of this, that people, if they don't see your worth and your value, that means nothing to them. That's just something that, oh yeah, she's got her degree, or he's got his degree or whatever. And so in their eyes, they're looking at, well, more than likely they got a good job, and they're making good money and stuff like that. So it's giving them access to things, not really you, but what you possess. And you got to be able to see and know your own worth, that there are people that will come around just because they know that you have things. But that is not someone that really, cares about you or values you. And you have to be able to see through that and say, you know what, I bring something to the table that is beyond these tangible things, these possessions and things like that. I have a good quality. I have a good heart. I have a loving heart. I'm a caring person. I care about others. I respect others. And like I said, if there's somebody in your life that does not appreciate that, then you got to know your own worth and be like, I don't need you. If you can't appreciate the person that I am, then I don't need you. I don't need you in my life. There's somebody that will appreciate who I am. So we have to be able to know when we find ourselves, trying to be the pleaser, saying yes to everything, or we're trying to be the performer. We're trying to basically parade everything that we have and things that we've accomplished. And then we also have to know when we are becoming to be the doormat. And the doormat is like the worst, where you allow somebody to just demean you and degrade you and disrespect you. And that's where you're losing sight of your worth. You're losing sight of that. Hey, I was raised the right way. I was brought up the right way. I was brought up to respect people, to treat people the way I want to be treated. And I'm not going to, count that as nothing. That is something that we're living in a world now where, it is so crazy. There's so much evil and so much disrespect and just all kinds of evil that is going on. And to be able to have people that are love, that have love and kindness and have respect, it's hard to find that. So I'm not going to let anybody take that away from me because it is valuable. It is something that is hard to find now. Everything goes now in this world that we're living in. So be able to find a friend that is not trying to stab you in the back and take advantage of you and is there for you, that genuinely cares for you, that's hard to find, or to be in a relationship with somebody that's going to respect you and love you and treat you the right way. That's hard to find. So then if you know your worth and these things are valuable and hard to find, then you shouldn't let anybody, push you into a situation where you're now trying to be the pleaser, the performer, or the doormat. Definitely, the doormat, it's just so, to be in that situation where somebody's just walking all over you and make you feel like you're not worth anything. That's just, I hate even thinking about it because it's disheartening and it makes you feel so low and just, like you want to just leave this world. Like, what am I good for? Why am I here? And this is because you've allowed somebody to demean you and degrade you, disrespect you, basically put their foot on your neck. And I'm not. I hope nobody's going through that physically, but I'm saying, how we'll let somebody just put us down to the point where it's almost like, having a foot on your neck. But that is something that we have to take back control and know our worth. Know your worth. Know that you've been raised the right way, that you've grown up to be someone to have great respect for people, no matter if you know them or you don't know them. But whoever you come in contact with, you come in contact with them and you respect them. You don't disrespect them. You don't talk to them any kind of way, but you having a respect for them. And that is something that, like I said, is hard to find this day and time, where people, show respect, show love and kindness. It's hard to find that. And so the original question that I asked was, what do you believe you deserve? And see, that is something that you got to know for yourself. I deserve this, and I deserve this. And I don't care what nobody say about it. I know what I bring to the table. I know the qualities that I have. So I'm not going to let you talk about me and me like, okay, lay all of that down and be like, okay, I guess I'm not worth anything. No, I am. I am worth something. God made me to be great. And so I'm not going to let anybody take that away from me. So tonight, I just want to get that out to everybody that's listening in or will be listening later, that you got to know your worth. You can't, just go around and just let people belittle you, whether it's friends, family, church members, or whatever. You can't. I was just talking to someone the other night, and they were talking about how they are staying away from church and everything because of what other people have to say. And I'm like, you know what? Forget other people. Forget them. You have right to be there just as much as they do. And sometimes we'll let people, how they look at us, what they say about us, and we start feeling a certain way. We start feeling like, well, maybe I don't belong, or maybe, they're right or whatever. No, they're not right. There's nobody perfect. We all got issues and different things going on. But we also all bring something to the table. There's something valuable about each of us. You may, interact with somebody that they are a talker, and you're the one that is a listener. You're a good listener. And the talker, he may be able to he or she may be able to get out some points and different things because they know how to articulate it. But then when it comes down to somebody listening, that's you. You're a good listener. You're able to listen and not only listen, but you are able to obtain what was said. And at the end of a meeting, you're that person that you can stand up and say, oh, yeah, here's a recap of what we discussed, and you were able to retain that. And so we all, even in a relationship, there may be, like a marriage. There may be the husband. He may not be able to manage money well, but then his wife, she knows how to manage the money. So why would he be like, oh no, I can't let you manage the money when he's got checks and stuff bouncing left and right because he doesn't know how to manage the money? But she can. She knows how to manage it. So let her do that. Let her do that. So there's something we bring to the table, and we as human beings have to be able to see the value in others. But even if somebody does not see the value in you, you got to know your own worth. You got to know your worth. You got to know without a shadow of a doubt, I bring something valuable to the table. I have some good qualities. Not about the car I drive, or nothing about the house I live in, or the job that where I work. But I'm talking about qualities that you have been given. God have given it to you. It's a blessing to you to be able to love and to respect, to care. You can't pay people enough to care. I mean, you could pay a man $1 million. If he just don't care, he just don't care. But you can tell a man, when a man or a woman that genuinely cares about people, it's not about the money. It's not about the money. They just care. It's something about when they see somebody in need or somebody going through. It's just something about it that they want to step up to the plate to be a help. So tonight, you got to know your worth. You can't be around here just letting people belittle you. And I know we end up in these situations and we say, oh, I'm in love, I love him or I love her. And we find ourselves just in these situations, and then we end up being belittled, put down, degraded, disrespected. But it's time to take it back. That I have worth. I am somebody that brings good qualities to the table. And if this person can't appreciate that, then hey, they don't need to be in my life. But I know my worth. You got to know your worth. You got to know your worth. And I know, like, when you're in a relationship or you've been married or whatever, and things happen, and you the marriage ends or whatever, and you start feeling a certain kind of way, like, dang, there must be something wrong with me. No, no, not trying to place any blame anywhere, but you got to know your own worth. That maybe that situation just wasn't the right situation for you, but that doesn't mean that you're not a good person, that you have some good qualities. And you can't let nobody take that away from you. I was thinking about Papa the Cellar Man, how he, he would always have these issues with Brutus, and Brutus would just come and take everything from him, and even take his wife from him. But then he would like eat his spinach and his muscles and everything, and he'd be like, you know what? I'm going back and get what belongs to me. And that's what I'm telling you tonight is get back what belongs to you. Know your worth. Know that you bring good qualities to the table, whether it's in a friendship, whether it's with church members, whether it's on the job, wherever you are, you got to know your worth. That I bring something valuable to the table. I don't care what nobody says. And I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything like that, but I know that I bring some good qualities to the table. And you got to know your worth. So don't let anybody belittle you out there. If you're listening in, sometimes we find ourselves and I have to speak on relationships because this happens a lot in relationships. And you find yourself in this relationship or this marriage or whatever, and this person is being mean to you, and calling you, names and saying you're ugly and all this stuff. And I'm thinking like, wow, what, before you married me, I mean, you said this and that, but now all of a sudden I'm ugly, you know? And so you got to be able to say, you know what? I'm not ugly. I am beautiful, or I am handsome. And you got to claim that yourself. You can't let anybody else define that. Sometimes, when you're growing up as a child, it's good to hear, daughter, good to hear a mother or father say, "Oh, you're beautiful, you're beautiful," or a son to be able to hear, his parents say, "Man, you're handsome," or whatever. And that's all good. But somewhere you gotta know. You gotta know your worth. You gotta know. You gotta have a self-esteem where, no matter what people say about you, that you know your own worth. You know the qualities that you possess that God have given to you. And trust me, if you got any good qualities, God had to give it to you. You didn't get them from anywhere else. God had to give them to you, whether it was through your mother, your father, whatever, grandma, auntie, whoever. However you obtained them, it had to come through God, because he's the one that provides the great good things. And so tonight, I just wanted to reach out to everyone and just really focus on us reclaiming, our worth and knowing our worth. Because sometimes we lose sight of it. We get in relationships and different things, different situations, and we start to believe what others are saying, that, we're nothing and all this kind of stuff, and they degrade us. And we got to put a stop to that. Somewhere we have to stand up for ourselves and claim what we are. That I am a good person. I treat people the way I want to be treated. And that is with loving kindness and respect. If I can help somebody, I will. And like I said, in the society that we're living in, especially this day and time, it's hard to find. It's hard to find a friend. You run across people and their whole intent is the what they can get out of you, how they can take advantage of you. But to find somebody who genuinely cares about you, that you can call in the wee hours of the morning, and if you were broke down somewhere, and this person will get out of their bed and come and help you out, or if you're in a situation where you just need somebody to talk to, and this person will take the time and listen to you. You know, I mean, it's hard to find that. Most people are selfish. They're selfish. They're only thinking about themselves. So that's why I'm just stressing this tonight. If you know that you have some good qualities, and you try to do right by people, stop letting people put you down and make you feel like you're the bad one. Like you think you so good. You know, they have these different things they say to you. Oh, you think you so good. You think you don't do no wrong, whatever. You know, and it's not even about that. It's just trying to do the right thing by people. Cause trust me, at the end, you're gonna be judged according to your actions and the things you do. And God ain't gonna be trying to listen to, oh, well, I don't only start doing this other stuff because they was treating me bad, and so I just started to retaliate and treat them the same way they was treating me. God ain't gonna be trying to hear that. If you have the qualities where you're able to treat people the right way, to love people, to respect people, I wouldn't let nobody change me from that. Sometimes we let people change us because we got in a bad relationship. Now we're bitter, and we just want to hurt everybody. No, I got to be who God made me to be. God made you to be loving and kind. I mean, why would you let somebody, cause you to go the other way? To start being mean and bitter and lashing out at people, and just like you at people's throat, just waiting on an opportunity to cuss somebody out or whatever. No, 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 no. Regardless of what people may say, there's still somebody that loves to hear some words of encouragement, to hear that there is somebody that cares. Yeah, I mean, so don't let anybody change you. You know your worth. And if the people that are in your life, they don't appreciate it, then maybe you need to get a new set of friends. And I know, like, when it comes to family members, it's hard to just say, okay, well, I'm done with y'all and I ain't never speaking to y'all no more, which sometimes people do that. But most of the time, you still find yourself interacting with, family members. And you got to be able to just stand up for yourself. And when they start to go in on you like that, you got to stand up for yourself and, like, look, I'm not going to take that. No, I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to let you just treat me any kind of way and say anything you feel you can say. No, I'm not going to do that. And if you can't respect that, then I don't have to be around you. I don't have to talk to you. But if you're gonna be around me and you want to be around me, then you're gonna have to respect me, and you're gonna have to treat me the same way I treat you, because that is what I expect. That is what I'm looking for. That's what I'm putting out. So I expect that in return. And if you can't do that, then I know how to stay away. I know how to stay away, but I'm not gonna let that change who I am. I'm not gonna let it change who I am. I'm still gonna be the person that has love and kindness and respect for other people. So I hope that you're getting something out of this tonight, because I mean, we got to know our worth. And I talk to so many women that they find themselves in relationships, and they just let you know certain men just treat them any kind of way. And I'm just like, wow. But I understand when it comes to the matters of the heart, sometimes you find yourself in places where you shouldn't be. But because you say I love him, you put up with a lot of different things. And maybe it's God's will for you to go through it or whatever. I don't know. I can't say. But what I am saying tonight is you got to know your worth, and you got to stand up and see and remember the qualities that you have, and that if the person that you're with, if they can't appreciate that, then you need to move on. You need to move on. As simple as that. You need to move on. And I know that some things you get so tied up in it, you just can't just immediately. But that you need to start looking that way, a transition away from that, because it's not a good situation for you. For somebody that doesn't appreciate you, doesn't value you, don't see the worth, your worth, doesn't see what you bring to the table. So again, ladies and gents out there tonight, I just want to say, let us take a look in the mirror and look at that person in the mirror, and you know what you bring to the table. So again, know your worth. Know your worth, and don't let anyone take that away from you. Don't let anybody belittle you. Stand up for yourself. When they're belittling you and making you seem like you're like the worst thing that was ever born in this world, tell them they'll lie. I'm a king, or I'm a princess. Let them know that I am somebody, that I bring something great to the table. And I'm sorry you can't see it. I'm sorry you can't see the value. But I'm going to take my qualities and move on, because somebody will appreciate who I am. So with that, I hope that you got something out of this episode of Fred Speaks. And we look forward to another episode on next Wednesday night at 6 p.m. So with that, everyone have a great night.